Hello and welcome to another Peplink University video by West Networks. Today, I am incredibly excited to finally be able to introduce the HD2 Dome LR. When I first heard about this thing, I was imagining like a slightly bigger dome, and if you've seen the dome, it's about this big by about this high, and this is not that small. This is Peplink's high-performance, long-range maritime antenna solution, our dual 5G solution. Look at some of the specs built into this thing. Okay, so we have the HD2 Dome Pro LR, long-range, 5G, built-in Wi-Fi 6 LAN and WAN, built-in Ethernet WAN, so you could plug this into a Starlink right next to it if you wanted to. It supports the SIM injector and switch, which we're going to demo here for the setup. So here you can see it can be powered by a PoE Plus input to stand by itself, and then you can hook up to a switch or a SIM injector, or you can power it with PoE Plus plus BT and have PoE Plus output, PoE out. So you can run this up a mast or put on the roof of the building, put a PoE Plus plus input, and then power a webcam or another device via the PoE Plus output. Here you can see that you could hook the Dome Pro up to a Starlink and passing through. It's not going to do the power output for the Starlink. You're going to need the power supply. But you could hook up to a Starlink with our Starlink support. And here you can see that the LAN port, the PoE BT++ input, is a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet LAN. So you can plug this into a 2.5 gigabit switch with PoE BT output, and then if you did that, then you'll have the 1 gigabit WAN LAN with PoE output. So let's look at some of the specs here that we have. We have 1 gigabit Ethernet WAN/LAN, 2 5G in. These are the 520N modules supporting X62 chipset with redundant SIM slots built in. The LAN interface is a 10/100, 1000, 2500 Ethernet, simultaneous dual band 2.4 and 2.5 gigahertz Wi-Fi 6, 2x2 MIMO, WAN and LAN. So it can broadcast to Wi-Fi for your network at the same time connecting to a maritime, like a shipyard or another Wi-Fi. It supports hot failover, WAN smoothing, and bandwidth bonding. It comes with 2 SpeedFusion peers built in, so you can connect to 2 locations for free, built into the router, or you can buy a license to upgrade to 5 peers. So if you want to be able to have like a US and a UK and an Asia and Australia hubs, you could do that. 1 gigabit of routing throughput with 400 megs of unencrypted and 200 megs of encrypted SpeedFusion throughput. It is the 5G chipset, so it's going to support 3.4 gigabits of cellular on the chip there. It has 8 internal long-range optimized cellular antennas, 2 internal Wi-Fi antennas, and a GPS antenna. Supports only 24 watts of power, so it runs incredibly lean on power input or draw, not including whatever power you pass through to your PoE device. And then it supports the 4FF Nano SIM, so the small SIMs can go right into the dome. So it's 18.8 inches tall. So there's this VSAT dome kit that you can get where you basically mount it to a pole, and then you have like a VSAT dome that this slides into and screws down. And you can see the dome kit right there. And then it also has a standard dome mount, which is this little plate that you can mount to the top of a pole or mount to a bracket and then run the cables down in. So I just wanted to show you those. So let's set this thing up or talk about how to set it up. So we have the Dome Pro. On the bottom of the dome, we're going to have your dual SIM slots here. So we unscrew these and you can plug your SIM cards in right here. So you'll have A and B, cellular 1AB, cellular 2AB. We can unscrew this plate right here, and this is way easier to install SIM cards than the previous domes. So I'm pleased with this. And then you'll see right there, there's the cell 1 A and B, cell 2 A and B. And so you just install your SIM cards right here. Now, if you do this and you want to change these SIM slots, you're going to have to climb up to wherever it is and then unmount it, flip it over and install it. using a SIM injector with the Dome Pro or any Dome makes SIM card management way, way better. So we will not be installing SIM cards here. We will simply just be showing you how to install SIM cards. So let me screw this back on. This Dome has been heavily utilized. I got it, and then I had customers I had customers requesting demos, and I finally got it back long enough to be able to create a video about this. So it's been, this device has been all over the world, on ships and lakes and tops of buildings. We loaned it to somebody for an emergency internet source while they're waiting to get their internet. So it's been this baby's been around the world on adventures. Then we have our 2 Ethernet ports here. So if you just unscrew these, it comes with watertight connectors that you can crimp and make your cables, and then they screw on right here. So you can see right here, WAN 2. This is our 802.AT PoE, and then we have our LAN 1, which is also the AT PoE in. So the WAN, this is 1 gigabit power output. The LAN is our 2.5 gigabit AT or BT input. So you want to make sure you plug into the LAN if you're downstreaming this to your network. And plug it into my LAN, and it should come online. And so we should see a status light right there. You can see this, the status light's red. That will turn green. And then I should be able to get an IP address, log into it, and program it. There we go. So you can see here I got an IP address, 192.168.50.1 or 50.113, and the router's IP is 192.168.50.1. Let's see if we can get into it. 192.168.50.1. Okay, so it's updating the firmware right here. You'll see it's 841, and you can see the switch is online and it's already reporting the right firmware, so we're good there. And you can see if I go to the router, it's letting us know that it's updating the firmware, which is exactly what we want it to do. So all I'll do is just waiting for the Dome to reboot and come back online. If I want, impatiently, I could go ping 192.168.50.1/T and just kind of wait for it to come back online. Oh, there we go. There we go. Then I can log back in with my new password that I set. You can see it's getting set up there, so we go to status, client list, and there's my SIM injector right there. There we go, there's my SIM injector. The SIM injector is just admin as well. So once again, just admin. And I'm running old firmware. See that 11115? So we're gonna go to settings, firmware, choose file. We're gonna grab that firmware we downloaded, 11133. Hit upload. So the firmware notes are important. They tell you what you need everything to function properly. So whenever you download a new firmware, always check those release notes, because you'll find anything you need to know about auxiliary components. And there you go. You can see it's already back up. There's our 8113. So now I have the serial number of the SIM injector. So now I can take my SIM cards and I can plug them in. So I'll plug one SIM card into slot 1A, or 1, I should say, slot 2, and a third one into slot 3. And the reason I'm doing 3 is because I don't know if the T-Mobile SIM that I have is active. There we go. Okay. So that's there. Okay, so if we go, so now if I want to use that SIM injector, I just highlight the serial number, go to the Dome, and there's my SIM injector right there. You can see it's right there. Go to dashboard, and I can click on cellular 1, uncheck A and B and PEP eSIM, and go to remote SIM. Put in the serial number, colon, and then the port you want to use. So SIM injector, serial number, colon, and then the port. So in this case, I'm going to do port 1. And then because I don't know if port 1 works, I'm also going to add port 2, which I know works. So port 2. So I'm gonna say try port 1. If port 1 doesn't work, try port 2. Hit save and apply. And then I can go to cellular 2, uncheck eSIM, uncheck A and B because I'm not gonna use those, remote SIM, boom, and port 3 is gonna be the next one we use, save and apply. So then I need to go to the advanced tab and then go down here to remote SIM management. And right here, remote SIM is disabled. I need to go to the red check edit, auto LAN discovery, hit save, and apply changes. Now, if I wanted to customize settings on a particular SIM card, I can actually add the eSIM right here. So I could say new SIM server, put in the serial number, give it a name, what slot, and then I can customize my APN right here. So if you need to customize the settings for each of your SIM cards, you could put in all 8 SIMs right here, SIM slot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then customize the APN. But because it's a T-Mobile SIM and a Peplink SIM, I don't need to worry about that. It's going to be automatic. So all you have to do is have auto LAN discovery. But if you want to define the parameters of the actual SIM cards with custom APNs, you add them right here. And then go back to the dashboard. And you can see the resetting right there. And then I can come over here and see it. There it goes right there. See? Connected and connected. So it's trying SIM 1 first, and SIM 2 is on standby, and then it's connected to SIM 3. So port cellular 1 is connected to SIM 1, cellular 2 is connected to SIM 3, and then if it can't connect to the internet on SIM 1, it's going to automatically fail over to SIM 2. So we're just waiting to see if it comes online. Boom! Now you can see there we go. There's my T-Mobile 5G, my PepSIM 5G, and then my Wi-Fi all connected there. So now that I have 3 internet connections, right now the default is going to be load balancing. So if I go to whatismyip.com, it's going to pick one of those and say, okay, you're on AT&T. So it's just using my Wi-Fi ISP, and it's connecting me to AT&T. So it's going to load balance those connections. I'm not bonding them. They're just load balancing. So there's 2 ways to bond. The first way is Peplink's SpeedFusion Connect service. This is connecting to Peplink's public cloud infrastructure. You can see right here that I have 2.4 terabytes of available, and that expires on May 7th of 2024. That's when this warranty expires. And so I would need to renew that warranty to keep that data going. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to configure that. We're going to bond these 3 internet connections together. So I'm going to go to SFC Connect, client mode, and here I can choose a specific location. So if I want to route all my traffic to the Netherlands, I can click on the Netherlands. Or if I want it to come from Atlanta or Chicago or Dallas, I like automatic. Pick the closest, fastest location and bond to that. So I'm going to do that. Hit automatic, hit OK. Then I'm going to click on SFC. And I'm going to make sure TCP ramp up is turned on. This accelerates traffic to improve TCP throughput. I'm going to make sure dynamic weighted bonding is enabled, which it is. And I'm going to hit save and apply changes. Now, I could also click on SFC and add a new profile. So this is the default bonding. It's going to aggregate all 3 of these together. But say I'm doing Zoom and Teams calls, and I want to make sure those Zoom and Team calls are perfect regardless of what my internet status is. So I'm going to create a new profile, number 2. And I'm going to call this WAN smoothing. And then what I'm going to do is instead of turning on TCP ramp up, I'm going to turn on WAN smoothing normal. This sends parity bits or extra traffic across all 3 connections to make sure if one connection doesn't deliver the packet, deliver to the internet, it's going to disregard it and then use the other internet connections. This makes Zoom, Teams, iMessage, FaceTime, WhatsApp calling, all run way better, especially over disparate connections like a public Wi-Fi. So then I can hit save, and I'm going to click apply changes again. Then I can go to my dashboard, and I should see SFC established, and then I should see a new one show up, SFC WAN smoothing, in just a few seconds. There we go. There's our SFC group 1, and then SFC 2 WAN smoothing, and those will connect. And my WAN smoothing. So now if I want to see the status of that, I can go to the status tab, go to SpeedFusion VPN, and there's my 2 tunnels. So it's connecting to Atlanta, and you can see there's my 3 internet connections. You can see my T-Mobile 5G is 44 milliseconds, my Wi-Fi is 25 milliseconds, and my PepSim is 113 milliseconds. You can see that right there. And then I've got my WAN smoothing profile once again the same way. So we're all online. Now, I'm still not using those though. They're set up and working, but they're not being used. I need to have a policy that says use those connections. So I'm going to go to SFC Connect again, and I can route policies by 3 ways. I can send cloud applications, I can create a Wi-Fi SSID, or I can route specific clients out of specific internet connection or bond it. So the first thing I'm gonna do is a route by cloud application. So basically detect an application and send it. I know that I want Google Meet, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, FaceTime, and WebEx to go out WAN smoothing, okay? We know we want to do that, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So if I open up Google Meet, Zoom, FaceTime, or Teams, or WebEx, it's going to now WAN smooth. It's going to protect that with parity resiliency. But now I want to make a Wi-Fi that says, hey, make sure that this is bonded versus load balanced. So then I can create a SSID Wi-Fi. So route by SSID. I can create this SSID. On the Wi-Fi here, I can put H2LR, and then I can say H2LR bonded. And then I can create another one, H2LR, and I can say WAN smoothing. Hit save, hit apply changes. Now instead of one Wi-Fi, I have 3 Wi-Fis. One that's just regular load balancing. It's just using all 3 internet connections the way it is. Another one that's going to bond all 3 internet connections together, and then another one that's going to be WAN smoothing. So if I'm doing a video stream and it's not working, or I want to take advantage of WAN smoothing for different applications, I can then connect directly to that Wi-Fi. So if I go back to my dashboard, you can see right there I've got 3 Wi-Fis: H2LR WAN smoothing, bonded, and HD2LR. These are the same password that we have set up for HD2LR. All it's doing is routing that traffic over SpeedFusion. So if I click on my Ethernet line here, I could turn on my Wi-Fi. Let me disconnect my Ethernet. So I unplug my Ethernet. I'll turn on my Wi-Fi. And I should be able to, let me disconnect from the Wi-Fi. So I should be able, there they are right there, HD2LR bonded, WAN smoothing, and LR. So if I connect, I already showed you that if I do what is my IP, it connects to AT&T. So if I connect to, for example, the bonded circuit, connect, put in my password that I've set up for the Wi-Fi. Once again, the same password that you set up for the original Wi-Fi. And there you go, I'm connected. So I can still browse the network. See, here's my router. I'm on the router, on the network. But if I go to what is my IP again now, Control-Shift F5. Now look, I'm going out of Atlanta, Georgia right there, which we know based on SpeedFusion, it says Atlanta, Georgia. So now I'm being bonded to Atlanta, Georgia. So all 3 of my connections are being used. So if I go back to my dome and I go to status and I go to active sessions, search, refresh, and I choose the VPN and hit search. And there's all my traffic now. And look, you can even see some Microsoft applications going over WAN smoothing because I'm running Microsoft Teams on my laptop. So Microsoft Teams is going out WAN smoothing. All of my other traffic is going out SpeedFusion Connect. And you can see that right there. And there's my IP address of my laptop. So now I'm using WAN smoothing for my Teams, and I'm using the bonding. So that's the way to use Peplink's public service. Now, one thing about Peplink's public service is that it's sometimes Netflix or Hulu and things like that will see this as a VPN. So if you open up Netflix, I'll say that we've detected you're on a VPN. So you might want to send that out directly out to your Starlink or directly out your 5G, so you're not bonding it and let Netflix go out. So that's why you want to create these policies. So your TVs you want to connect to the regular Wi-Fi, but your laptops and all your devices for reliable internet you can connect out through the bonding. Or you can bond to a private server like your home or your office. That is a whole different ballgame. That's our enterprise SpeedFusion. So that's bonding back to your office. So I have a another router set up. Well, I'll show it to you real fast. It's called Enterprise. So I have another router actually sitting behind me in this data center, and it's connected to a 3 gigabit fiber line. So here's my EPX right here. So I can create a VPN that bonds this to that, to this EPX right here. So if I go to Peplink University, and I go to SpeedFusion configuration, I can create a new profile, add profile, star, next. I can choose this enterprise lab, choose my EPX, click next, select my HD2 Dome LR, click next, call this SpeedFusion Florida, because that's where I'm at. I'm going to turn off encryption. Make sure dynamic weighted bonding. So I'm going to click Show Advanced Settings. Make sure dynamic weighted bonding is enabled. I'm also going to turn on TCP ramp up because I like that. Hit Next, hit Finish, save changes. So now I have, if I go back to this router and I go to the dashboard, I'm going to have SpeedFusion VPN. This is Peplink's original version of the SpeedFusion going to my office. So I can create an outbound policy that sends all normal traffic to SpeedFusion VPN. This will allow me to bond Netflix and things like that and have them work. So once this comes up, I'll show you. And I might be able to go to Netflix and just see if it fails. Let's see here, netflix.com. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. There you go, access denied. So it's not going to work. So Netflix doesn't work because I'm on the VPN. And you can see right there, it's not working. So then, once this comes up, I'll show you what I can do. Okay, you can see that the VPN is established now. So I have my SpeedFusion VPN connected to my office. So this SpeedFusion Connect, this is Peplink's public bonding service. It's designed for outbound internet only. So now I've connected it to my office. So Netflix and things like that, and I kind of demonstrated that Netflix doesn't work. So what I can do is I can create a new policy, advanced outbound policy, add a rule, and I could say bonding to Florida. And then I can say source any, destination any, priority, connection to my EPX. And I can drag this over. And you don't have to do both. You could do one, you could do the other. I'm just, as the purpose of this video, showing you the difference between both types of SpeedFusion. So I'm creating an outbound policy going to my EPX, fail through the next rule, click, which says when no connections are available. So if this connection, this VPN's down, what do you want to do? It's just go to the next policy. So hit save, hit apply changes. So right now I'm on the bonded Wi-Fi. It says bonded. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to the regular Wi-Fi, just the HD2 LR. So I'm going to disconnect from this. I'm going to connect the HD2 LR, put in my password. There we go, connected. I should be able to go to my dashboard. So now I'm on the Wi-Fi, you see that? So if I go to what is my IP and refresh it, there you go. Now I'm in Gainesville, Florida, and it's on my GRU fiber. So I'm bonding my normal internet traffic to my Gainesville, Florida data center. So now if I go to Netflix, it loads just fine. So on the VPN, the SpeedFusion Connect, Netflix got bonded or got blocked. But when I connected to my Gainesville, Florida data center, it works just fine. So I'm still bonding. It's not going out that AT&T. It's going out this Gainesville Regional Utilities. It's switched to my bonding, but it's now using both services. And if I go to status, you can see all three of them. So basically the way this works now is if I connect to the HD2 LR Wi-Fi, it's going to go out this SpeedFusion VPN. If I connect to the bonded, it's going to go out this bonded SFC Connect. And if I connect to the WAN smoothing, it's going to go out this WAN smoothing of the public SpeedFusion Connect. You do not have to do both. I could do just my data center and bond it all there, which would be fine, but not everybody has a data center. I just wanted to demonstrate that you have both options. I know that's a lot. There's a lot that you can do with these routers. I just wanted to give you a generic overview of it, show you the SIM injector, show you the 24-port switch that we have powering the SIM injector and the dome. And so if this was mounted outside of my building or mounted even inside my building, because it's getting great service, but if this was mounted outside my building or mounted on the top of a mast or on top of on top of a mast on my building, I could just run a Cat6a cable down, plug it into a switch, plug it in a SIM injector. Now I can put APs off here. I can put a whole bunch of Wi-Fi APs and then power this on my ship or my building and use this as internet. If I wanted to as well, this WAN port right here, this Ethernet WAN, I could connect a Starlink to this and have it come online and use the Starlink as an additional Ethernet WAN. So there's lots of options here that you can do with these devices. I wanted to give you a basic overview and setup. I hope this is valuable for you. This is available right now on buypeplink.com. So you can buy this right now, and if you need any help, we offer tech support for it. So you can buy this on buypeplink.com and get access to our amazing tech support and setup assistance. Have a great day.